Ready? Well, let's
No, 1 minute. I put this in Facebook, and in 1 minute we start, please.
don't worry, don't worry.
Elizabeth, I got a question. How can I get on Facebook your website?
Yes, it's,
How can
it's my name, Elizabeth Islas.
Elizabeth?
Yes, now it's in Facebook. We can start. Perfect. Okay. We are on Facebook now. Now we wait for our friend Ramon for start. Thank you. And what's your name? Exilda? No,
Exilda. Yes.
Exilda. Oh,
Exilda. But here my name is Rosa because it's easier. More it's easier than Exilda.
yes.
Much easier
Yeah.
for Ireland,
Yeah.
people from
Yeah.
Ireland.
Yeah. They call me Ex Rosa or Rose.
Rose.
No. My name is Elizabeth, but here in Egypt they can
Liz.
say my name. Only say
Liz.
Liz. And not tell
Ah,
me
Liz.
Liz. Tell me Lisa, Alice.
Yeah.
Okay, it's okay. No problem.
Is it
Yes.
where do you live? Where do you live now?
I live now in Cairo. I am now in Cairo.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh,
When you want, you are welcome here.
thank you.
Yes. Okay, well, then we will start now. We are in Facebook. And well, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for to be today again with us in our English webinar each week. We are very happy this year because this year we have the mission to help to the students. Is true, Ramon?
Yeah, to engage our students to participate, because our mission is to they participate and think, or have another point of view of their life, for example, because they are studying, and they have to keep in mind that the future can be constructed if they have a good base for the future. For that
Yes.
reason,
Yeah.
we are planning to make some courses, for example, webinars and courses, in order to lead them to have an other change for life.
Yes, this is true because we was speaking with another students, and they tell us about it's necessary to have more preparation about the job for the life. Then we decide with all our friends to do it each week and to help all the young people that want to be with us. Yes. And well, today, Ramon, our friend Ramon Hernandez, will be with us speaking about your topic. Ramon, please.
Why it's important to speak a foreign language? I don't know if you let me to share my screen, because
Yes.
I
Now you
prepared just some information in order to share for everybody, because I think it's really important to understand and to think why it's important to speak a foreign language like Spanish, English, or Portuguese. Ready?
yeah,
Okay,
ready,
let me look for.
please.
Okay. So why it's important to speak a foreign languages? Okay, in this case, Elizabeth and me, we are going to talk, to share with you. For example, it's really important to know what is a foreign language. Of course, It refers to non-native language outside our environment where it's commonly spoken. For example, in my case, a person who lives now in Brazil, for me, Portuguese was a foreign language because I understood, but for me it was really difficult to speak, to answer. And sometimes I felt frustrated because I wanted to answer, but I couldn't. Sometimes, for example, we have to make a distinction between what is a foreign language and what is a second language. A second language is learned in a context where a particular language is normally used. For example, in China, people speak Mandarin, but the second language there is English. So in some contexts, people put in practice they talk in native language and the second language. But what happened with the foreign language? It's always learned in a context where the member of the community don't normally speak it. So imagine, for example, when Elizabeth went to Egypt, there people speak Arabic. So she was the only person to speak Spanish. So in that context, the people around her they don't speak Spanish. Well, it's really difficult to communicate sometimes. For that reason, we have to make an effort to try to learn whatever language, especially English, because it's a global language. You can communicate in English in whatever country in the world if they don't speak Spanish, for example. So there are some benefits, of course, because some people say, oh, okay, I don't want to learn a foreign language because that it doesn't have benefit for me. They are wrong. People are wrong because so you have benefits, especially cognitive. Cognitive because you can think, you can develop your skill thinking, you can analyze, interpret, compare, make contrast, improvise, and make a synthesis. For example, the cognitive benefits, when you are in contact with a foreign language, you have to think, try to communicate. So I always tell to my students, please don't translate literally, because that's the problem. Because when you translate literally, generally, you don't understand. My God, that's happened sometimes. For that reason, we have to interpretate. Interpretation is the best way to learn a foreign language. So academic benefits is other benefits that learning a foreign language bring. Improve academic performance in English with vocabulary, math, reading, and writing. Remember, when you want to study um, post-grade, generally in other country, of course, you need to have knowledge in the native language. Generally, people want to study in the United States, in Australia, and of course, you have to take some tests, difficult tests, in order to know if you have acquisition of the native language, or the foreign language in this case, sorry. For that reason, your performance have to be speaking, grammar, listening, and that is going to help you to speak, to communicate, and to have a success in your academics career. So the next one, communicative. You can argument your interpersonal skills by developing your ability to interpret, discuss, and interact. Sometimes people feel frustrated because they cannot communicate in a foreign language, for example, because they care too much about pronunciation. One thing that I learned in my life nowadays is that you don't care about pronunciation, because people don't speak. They don't develop the language because they feel frustrated. My pronunciation is very good. My pronunciation is not beautiful. But let me tell you something. The most important thing is to communicate. Just it. Communication is the most important. Don't care about pronunciation. Yeah. So we have another benefits, economic, because when you speak a language, a foreign language like English, or you can be in the global marketplace. For example, you can be a seller, you can sell whatever, you can make business, millionaire business, or you can find a job, yeah, when you speak a foreign language. Societal benefits can also increase your awareness. It's really important for that reason. When you are teaching, you are a teacher of a foreign language, it's very important to teach the culture of the country, of the continent. It depends, because when the people know about the culture, of course they are going to have a good point of view of the situation. For example, the cultures thus increasing the mutual understanding, the meaningful communication. Sometimes remember in some countries when you shake hands, that is not good for Japanese. For example, Japan, for that reason, Japanese, they only greet with signs. They don't shake hands because it's not good. It's a good way to say hello. No. And when, for example, that belongs to the culture. For that reason, people have to know about the culture in order to don't have mistakes. Imagine we make the ridiculous in front of somebody when you make something wrong. Yeah. For that reason, we have to take care when you are a teacher and we are that kind of person. Yeah. Sorry. Uh, Sorry, because appear here a sound. If I didn't click it, you're going to be out. Yeah. I would like to share these statistics. For example, in 19, the most spoke all the time, the most spoken languages in the world is Chinese, because everybody knows that China is in Asia. Asia is the biggest continent in the world. For that reason, the most spoken language is Mandarin in China, but English is around the world. You can speak English in whatever country in the world, and Spanish is in the third place. And then we have Malay, Arabic, Hindustani, French, Portuguese, Bengali, and Russian. Was in 19. What happened in 2017? Chinese is still in the first place, but Spanish is in the second one, because nowadays Spanish is in a good place. Now Spanish, people are interested to speak Spanish. English, okay, because English is commercial, English for business, English for travel, for tourists. But now Spanish is in a good place because people are interested to speak Spanish. And I feel so happy, and I feel so I don't know how can I say in this moment, because when your language is spoken in other country. For example, I remember that in China exist talk shows, exist contestants that people have to speak Spanish, and the person who win in that moment is going to have studies in Peru. Is one way to motivate teenagers, people to speak a foreign language. For example, now in China, they speak English, of course, Mandarin, English, and Spanish. It's the same situation like Philippines. In Philippines, they have a language from Philippines, but you can communicate in Spanish or English without any kind of problem. Look at, that's an example. That's an example for the word, because it's a failure for Latin American, because our students study English from some of them from primary, so from kindergarten, and when they go to high school, they don't know anything. When they go to the university, they don't know anything. And what really happens sometimes, it's one moment to catch attention, because you study almost all the rest of your life a foreign language, and you finish speaking nothing. And China, Philippines, and other countries is an example for to follow, because they are interested to speak other languages, to become a multicultural or multilingual country. Let's see. Let's continue. Wait, I don't know what's happening. Okay, here we have some reason to why you can learn or speak a foreign language. For example, increase creativity. Some scientists think that when you study a foreign language, of course, your brain is going to be creative. Also, some people can have less disease, mental disease. For example, I don't remember this mental disease that when people start to forget everything. When you study a foreign language, whatever language, of course your brain is going to work, and of course are you going to suffer that kind of disease. Provide competitive edge in career choices. When you speak whatever language, for example, if you go to
Excuse me,
Spain,
Raymond.
sorry.
It's Alzheimer. This is the mental illness that you're
Yeah.
talking about.
Okay, thank you, Anthony. So when you go to Spain, you live in, you are Arabic, or you are English, or you are American, and you want to study in a Spanish university. Of course, if you have developed, if you have developed your foreign language, of course, you're going to have a success in the choice of your career, because it's a pity when you start to study a career and you don't know anything about the foreign language. Because it's, I remember a case of a student who he won a scholarship in France. He's an engineer, and he won the scholarship. He went to France. But what happened there, he was frustrated because he didn't know anything in French, and he couldn't continue with it in the postgrad, because remember, the person have to know about the language, a foreign language, according to your academics purposes. Enhances opportunities in different career fields. Of course, when you speak, or for example, I'm a lawyer. Okay, you can work in a United Nations, you can work in whatever organization, world organization, without any kind of problem, because you speak. You can communicate perfectly. So 4 out and 5 new jobs in US are created as a result of foreign trade. Remember, foreign trade, some companies, for example, generally there are companies from other countries. For example, China have a good market of company, and they go to other places. Of course, if the Chinese don't speak English, you have to communicate with them in Mandarin. But remember that I said before, the global language is English. Expand one view of the world, leading to increased flexibility and tolerance. Of course, when sometimes you can understand the politics discourses, speeches, and the people when they want to express whatever, and you can be tolerant. You can have a point of view different or similar to that person who's speaking. Improve analytical skill. Remember, when you are learning, you can, okay, sometimes people don't know about technology. You can improve, you can learn about that topic. develop improved communication skill, that I said before. When you speak a foreign language, you can develop communication. You can communicate without any kind of problem. You can you because you are not to you are not going to be afraid to be in front of a public who speak a language different from you are used to. Lead to appreciations to cultural diversity. Remember, in the world, there are a diversity of cultures. So we have to respect and we have to try to adapt to the circumstance. Makes one a more valuable employee in the marketplace. For example, sometimes we have bright employees. You are bright employees because you know the marketplace, you know how's everything there, and for that reason you are going to be bright, you're going to be one of the best. For that reason, I said before, you have to study, to improve, to do whatever, improve one skill and grades in math, in English, and sat in Greek. So when you study, for example, generally other language or math, engineering, laws, you have to develop the skill in order to for example, if you want to be a lawyer, you have to you have to develop the orally in order to practice in a judge, in a sometime to be a judgment. In a judgment, you have to defend that person in a foreign language. Of course, in this case, if English is the foreign language. So here we have some strategies in order to improve your language. For example, vocabulary. Sometimes you can use flashcards and applications online. Yeah, remember with technology, you don't be more traditional with technology because you can look for applications online and you can practice. I remember when I label items around you. You put on the words on the freezers some pictures with the names. For example, if food, some fruits, apples, bananas, or pears, or grapes, in order to remember, in order to have to learn vocabulary. Okay, learn new words and phrases every day. For example, if I learn a word today, I'm going to put in practice every day. For that reason, it's really important to study or to learn a language and put in a context. In a context, it's really important to learn and put in a context to contextualize. You utilize images and create mnemonics devices. It's all the things that can help people. Speaking, be brave, be brave. So when you are in front of anybody, try to be self-confident. Don't worry about mistakes because people sometimes are bad in front of other because my God, imagine if I have mistakes. Don't care about it. For example, if you are understand or comprehensive in that moment is people, if people understand you, don't worry about pronunciation mistakes because the most important is communication. I just remember my experience here in Brazil. The first time that I was in a workshop for teachers, all the teachers from the city hall, and we have to be in group. Okay, we have to work with a strategy and then we have to explain. When the professor say, okay, now group number 2, go to explain the strategy. Nobody wanted to go to speak and to explain. And I am all the time brave, and I stood up and went to explain the strategy without any kind of problem because I said, "Do you understand me?" Yes. Okay. No, don't worry pronunciation. Don't worry grammar. The most important in that moment was communication. Reading. So when you read, please try to check news, Social medias. Oh, we learn a lot with social media. In my time, when I studied at the university, doesn't exist. But now you can listen, you can read, you can do whatever. For example, we have books. No, before you have to read a book. Now you have audio books. You can listen to books. You can practice listening, and you can practice pronunciation with the books, with the audios. Read magazine, children's books, and something very important to watch on television and to put the club caption, the subtitle is really important too. Listening. So listen to music, for example, and listen without the lyric and listen with the lyric in order to know some words and something new. Right. It's really important to write in the target language in English or Spanish or Portuguese or whatever language every day. For example, I remember when I started to study to write in Portuguese, I have a lot of mistakes because I didn't know, but now I feel more confident writing in Portuguese. So, okay, let's continue. So when you study a foreign language, read out loud. Read out loud. It's better if you record with your cellular or a cell phone when you record your voice, and then you can also make a video with with you making that pronunciation. Don't worry about speed because people feel, my God, I feel so frustrated because I don't speak very fast. Sometimes when you speak speed or fast, it doesn't tell you that you speak a foreign language. Sorry, you are wrong, you are mistaken. So focus on pronunciation. It's okay, it's really important to focus on pronunciation. But that is a before, if you focus on pronunciation, sometimes you are going to feel bad because, oh my God, some words are very difficult to pronounce. And people say, no, I don't want to talk because I have problem with pronunciation. No, try to talk. Don't worry for that. Try to communicate. Remember that I said before, if you communicate, if people who are native understand you, you are going to you are starting to success. So study vocabulary with flashcards. There is no quicker way to memorize. Remember, when you see a picture, just to associate, because some people wants to memorize. Remember, the memory sometimes can can help you and sometimes cannot. So apply new grammar rules. When you learn grammar rule, because some teachers love to teach grammar, but they don't care about speaking, writing, and listening. So if you learn a grammar rule, please put in practice. Practice, try to write, try to, okay, because sometimes people feel boring. I know I don't want to write to make a writing. No, please try to talk with a friend. And, hey, and try to put in practice when you're writing with a friend the tense you learn or the grammar rule you learn. So practice, practice, and practice. Join in a club, for example. I just remember I said, oh my God, we are trying to do this in the webinars to try to practice to listen people in order to try to understand and to try to think, to imagine. Yeah, make an international friend. For example, if you have a friend who don't speak Spanish, who don't speak English, oh my God, it's good because you're going to learn to learn with him how to write or how to practice. For example, I remember I have many friends who are native speakers in English, and sometimes, please, can you tell me what is the correct pronunciation of that word? For that reason, it's very good to have a friend. So watch movie, Talk to yourself. My God, people say, are you crazy? I just remember, I love to talk in front of the mirror. I love to talk to myself. Sometimes say, oh my God, you are crazy, or you are so intelligent because you are telling this and that. So do it, do it. It's one way to practice. Let's, let's see. So here we have some people who work with that skill because not everybody has that skill, but you can develop. You can develop. For example, learning a foreign language is not an easy task. It takes a lot of time to learn it perfectly. So when you are learning a foreign language, you have to take time to try to talk, to try to write well, comprehensive, understandable. Yeah. And we need to keep practicing. Okay, so how can you improve the language if you never practice? I never practice, I never listen, I never write, I never whatever. Yeah, you're never going to improve. We began learning a foreign language, and once stuck on a word, it feels frustrating. When you stuck, oh my God, I cannot pronounce this word, and you got away. No, don't worry. Try to be close of the pronunciation and continues. Don't stuck. If you stuck there, you're going to be frustrated. You're going to feel frustrated. You want to talk. You want to learn anymore because you are not motivated. Yeah. So okay, let's continue. So I brought you a video, really interesting video. Listen, please. Tell me that is good to. Yeah. You can listen.
It's only a bit.
No. Okay. Wait. Just a second. Just a second because is it. Okay. Let me see here. Okay. Better or no? No. It's better.
Not for me, but
Okay, let me
yes.
try to change here.
Okay.
Wait. No. Okay. For example, look at the example of this girl who's working in the United Nations. She's translating in six languages. Imagine, for that reason, it's really important to speak a foreign language, not only English or Spanish, whatever language. Yeah. So,
Yes, I think that is true, that you tell us, because, for example, here in Egypt, as you told, all the people speak Arabic first, and second, English, but not a lot of people. In fact, in the touristic zone, there are people that speak French, Italian, Spanish, English, and I think, wow, and our people are sellers, yes. Then it's very, very interesting, and I can speak Arabic. I try to learn Arabic, but I can't yet.
so,
But
so So Elizabeth, for example, an example that I didn't say in my presentation. For example, here in Brazil, the Brazil is one of the biggest country in Latin America, but only the 5% of the population speak English. So people are really, really worried for that, because remember, Brazil has 250 million people, and just a little 5% speak English. For that reason, people are worried, because the most important is to try to speak. Yeah, because unfortunately here the Spanish was not, it's for here in Spanish it's not important. English more or less, but it's in one country, a big country, it's a way to have a, my goodness, branches opportunities to work. When a person, okay, maybe you don't have you are not professional, yeah, but you speak the language, you can find a job, like translator, like whatever. Yeah.
yes, yes, it's true. In fact, a lot of people here uh, want to study English and Spanish. Here there are one, I don't know if you know the Instituto Cervantes
Yep.
from Spain. It's the bigger school here for learn Spanish. Then this is very interesting because a lot of people want to learn Spanish, but it's very, very small, the the people that speak English here. And for
Okay.
example, in
See,
Mexico, we have
it
a
means
big
that
problem with
it
this.
means that few people speak English and the other wants to learn Spanish. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Um, I don't know why the Spanish language is most important here than English.
Good.
Uh, yes, it's good for
that
me.
I that I said before. Now I feel so exciting to know how people in the world want to learn Spanish, because sometimes people don't valorate, don't worth the language, native language. In my case, for example, here in Brazil, it's a nice experience for me, because I can work like a teacher for Spanish students and English for English students. So it's a great way to for me to teach how important it is to learn a language, a foreign language.
Yes, yes, it's true. And for example, in Mexico, a few of people speak English. I don't know why in my country it's not important speak another language when it's very important for a new job, a better job. But I know some person that can't have a best job because they don't speak another language. And,
Yeah.
and they tell me, no, it's not important. I can find another job and things that I think, no, this is not good because we have to think with a big idea. I think that this is
Yeah.
very
So Elizabeth, it's really important to know, for
how can
example,
do.
Elizabeth, it's really important to know the experience. For example, Exilda, she never happened for her mind to speak English, and she's now for more than 4 or 5 years there in Ireland, and she's trying to speak English. Yeah, for I would like to hear her.
Mm,
How was her experience, for example, when she stayed in contact with the language, the foreign language?
Okay. Okay. In my case, I was my whole life, my entire life studying at the university in Venezuela. I was a teacher, almost 20 years, but I never think I need to speak English in my life. When I came here, my plan was used for 3 months. Stay here 3 months, holiday, and back to Venezuela, and yeah, that's it. I decided to stay here, but in my first years here, just stay at home, taking caring my grandchild, and I had a group. My friend group is only Venezuelan people, and I never start to speak English. I just last year I decided to change my mind, open my mind about the English because I never interested, and now I think so. Currently, uh, the English is the most important thing for me because here speak. I need to speak English, no, and I am working as a baker now, and I had a good opportunity to become fluently because I had to practice, and I am in the English environment now, and I need to speak yes or yes.
yeah.
I don't have any option. I
Well,
know yes or yes. No. I can't find another way, and it's a little difficult to me to understand the native speaker here because they speak very fast, so fast. But
Yes.
my environment daily, my routine is with different people from the different country, Romanian, Italian, Chinese, and I had a good opportunity to learn different accents, and I can understand everything now. Just my style in my life all the time was perfection. I need to speak perfect, and I care about the pronunciation. I think so that is my big problem because my trouble all the time is thinking in the pronunciation. Is I'm not sure. I try to change the way, but I can't communicate my idea. No,
Good.
it's
Very
good
good,
now.
Xilda. Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent
Hmm.
strategy.
Yeah.
very
And
good.
So,
in
Congratulations.
1 year,
In
in one
one year.
year change my
I would
mind.
like also to say hello to our friend of here, Brazil,
Hmm.
Angela. Angela is an English teacher. She's a very nice friend. I don't know, Angela, if you want to say something, because generally it's so difficult to hear to because our brain have Portuguese, and sometimes people don't want to break with this. Come on, Angela.
Hello, I'm
Hi.
Angela. I live in Teresina, Piauí. I love learning English. I study every day a little. Uh, I want to, I would congratulations, Dr. Ramon Hernandez. Uh, Your life is wonderful. I learned you very, very much. Thank you for inviting.
So, my friend, you are invited to participate all the time. If you want, we can add you to our group because our group is
Yeah,
is is growing up.
I
Yeah,
love
it's
it.
good important. It's good opportunity to practice. Yeah, I am very, I really appreciate that opportunity because uh, it's good to learn more vocabulary and practice to speak and listening. It's very,
Yeah.
very good, very good opportunity.
Yeah, this
It's
is the
perfect
idea
thing.
of these webinars
Mhm,
because I have not a good English as can you see, but
mhm.
this is the idea to help help to all the people that want to practice to learn more a bit more about English and about another topics because we can listen, we can speak, but at the same time we are learning about another topics, and this is very interesting for us. Well, at least for me, and we can to help to all the friends that want. But Anthony Michael, good
Yes,
evening,
I would
my
like to
friend.
ask him. You know why? Because I think he had the same situation when he went to Peru because he didn't speak too much Spanish.
Oh my goodness.
Yes,
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, of course. When I came to Peru 4 years ago, I had zero vocabulary of Spanish. And I need to teach children of primary 5 and primary 6 who don't really know English very well. It was a very difficult and challenging experience. I had no other choice than to start learning Spanish. And the beautiful thing about the situation is I never went for any class. I only depended on my cell phone, internet, movie, music, friends, and my students to learn Spanish. At least now I can communicate very well. And my friends in my country are now jealous of me that I can speak Spanish to some extent. It's a very beautiful topic that we are talking about today because when you talk about speaking foreign language is something that many people are beginning to realize that it is really important. Because when we look at language in general understanding, we use language first and foremost for communication, and other things like thinking, expressing, and of course, in the social and academic and economic situation. So when we bring all these things together, you see that when one learns foreign language, we're able to understand what the people mean, like what we are saying, Professor, that translation and translation from one language to another language to the language you can speak. For example, translating Spanish to English or English to Spanish. When we do that, you see that the real meaning of what we want to say are missing. I also find it difficult to see that many people think that when you translate, you will get the whole meaning of what language or the particular language you have in mind. But translation and transliteration, that is speaking, translating from one language to another or writing from one language to another, it creates what I call language gap or meaning gap between what the language, traditional language, and the language we are translating to. So for that reason, it is important to learn the particular language. For example, I want to use my own personal experience here. For example, the word carino, if we translate it, you will see that we can say my dear. That's the straight translation. But in Peru, when you call somebody cariño, it's more than my dear. It is somebody you love so, so much in your heart that, you use the word cariño. So these are the kind of things that brings what I call meaning gap in such a way that it becomes very important that we learn foreign language. Of course, when we learn foreign language, like Professor was saying, we become marketable, we become important for that particular society where the language we are learning is. We'll be able to understand their culture very well. We'll be able to understand their way of life, the way they do things, and even, in quotes, the social and economic aspect of it. Because I remember a friend that lives with me in the same apartment. He told me that he got a job. He came from Lima to where I am staying, Ilo. He said he got a job, not that because he is the best engineer, but because he could speak English. Other engineers from Peru, from Venezuela, from Argentina, they couldn't speak English, or they can't speak English. And the people that are giving this job are American engineers. So he got the job, not that he is the best, but he got the job because he could speak English. And I was like, what is this job all about? He said it's a job that will cost millions of dollars because they have to do mining engineering, laying a pipe inside the ocean and then mining oil from the ocean outside the shore. So the importance of foreign language can never be recounted, Professor. It's really good that you gave us a kind of comprehensive understanding of the importance of learning foreign language. And I will advise, if we have opportunity to learn any foreign language, please let's do it.
Okay. Now, when I talk with you, Anthony, I
Yeah.
will speak in Spanish, only in Spanish.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what Anthony experienced is one moment to reflect,
Yeah.
because people think that when you go to another country without know anything about the language, it's very easy. So, but he was interested. For that reason, he has to start to study from zero. He said he didn't know anything. For that
Yes.
reason, when you are interested to live in that country, of course you have to learn how to communicate. First
Definitely.
and second of all, you need it to have a job.
Yeah.
Imagine sometimes you say, okay, bilingual, speak English and Spanish. If you don't speak Spanish, my God, because unfortunately our students don't speak English. You have to say something in Spanish. Imagine, was a
Yeah.
very nice challenge for you, my friend.
Very, very big Herculean task because definitely, yes, it's big in that time because my students were like, oh, teacher, we can't understand what you're saying. No entiendo. I was like, hi, what is no entiendo? Oh, God, I don't even know what they are saying because
Yeah.
I have to calm down and follow them gradually because there are some words I need to use in Spanish for them to understand what I'm saying. And gradually, after 6 months, we started enjoying ourselves. By 6 months, I have gotten some important vocabularies that I now use in class, and the class became interesting. And today I am going to my 5th year in Peru. So it's good that we learn other foreign language if we could. Thank you.
Thank you to you, Anthony. Elizabeth, let me say hello to my friend Lilian Basilia. She's a teacher from the university. She doesn't speak English. I don't know if Lilian speaks English, but she understands a little. Yeah, I invite her to be here, and now she's in the group now.
Okay, welcome, Lilian.
Lilian, if you want to say something in English or in Portuguese, I can translate. Don't, Lilian, se você quer dizer uma coisa em português, pode, que eu faço a tradução. Sorry.
I can understand Portuguese because I had a lot of friends from Brazil here.
Really good.
Yes.
Yes, what's a group of
I
Portuguese?
can understand.
I
Yeah.
never
I had a
Ramon,
lot of friends.
Aha.
Amon, só dizer da minha satisfação, né, e participar desse
Okay,
evento,
let me translate. She feels satisfied to participate. Aha, continue.
de participar desse evento com pessoas tão importantes, né? A começar por você, dizer que me sinto honrada, né? E espero que seja um grande evento, uma discussão importante, né, no campo da neurociência, né? Espero que essa discussão ela possa ser ampliada na sociedade e que ela atinja, né, mais pessoas. Inclusive, eu divulguei para os meus alunos, né, para as minhas colegas também da universidade, né, que a gente possa abrir esse diálogo para mais pessoas, tá bom? Muito
Okay.
obrigada.
Uh, let me try to translate. She said that she's feel really happy to be in this event. She hoped that this event will be a great chance to share something about neuroscience, and she invites some people from the faculty and also students to start to be here, and she feel grateful because I invite her.
Oh, thank you. Yes, of course, you are welcome. And we wait for you and for the students and for all the people that want to be here with us.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody wants to say something because it's almost time to go.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Hi,
Hello.
Anthony. Good evening. Good afternoon. Good evening.
Good
All
Okay.
night.
right,
Good
all
night.
right. Well,
Good night.
good morning, good afternoon, and good evening for everyone. I don't know everywhere where you can find yourself. I would like to speak about something very important about this topic. It's about that many people wants to learn a foreign language in order to sell or to do something else in a foreign country. But we also have to understand that in English we have different dialects and accents. And so sometimes it's become harder for many people to understand English. Depends on what country they can find themselves. For example, um, I have many family. Okay, I have many relatives that they don't speak
Relative.
Spanish. Yeah, they. I have many relatives that they don't speak Spanish from Trinidad and Tobago, and you know that people from Trinidad and Tobago they have a closed English, and they are very jealous with it. They get a very and a strong British accent. For example, is the same like Nigerian people. They speak over there. Sometimes it's becoming harder for many people to speak English at the time. Many American people they don't understand Trini accent, but people from Trinidad they understand American people because of they watch TV, because of they watch their movies, and a lot of things. For me, it was very hard when I went to Trinidad and Tobago because they say, "Hello, boy, hiya," and it was so hard for me because the accent is a little scream out. Um, yeah, because of the Caribbean Sea, is the same like in Colombia in San Andres Island. When you go over there, you can find many people who can speak English to as a native English. Um, in my other side, me as an speaking Spanish, um, was so hard when I went to Brazil that I was speaking to Mr. Raymond about this. I was in Boa Vista and was so hard for me. I used to speak just a little about Portuguese, but when went there, I learned to get along with their situation. Um, and I was asking myself, oh my God, how it could be possible that it could be many languages around the world, that with only language you can communicate with millions and millions of people. But it's important to study about many dialects and accents. For example, people, I think Anthony Michael is from Kenya, isn't he?
Yes, you're from Kenya, Anthony.
No, I am not. I'm from Nigeria.
Oh,
Nigeria.
Nigeria.
Nigeria. Well, I hear that that kind of accent because it's really, really strong. It's really strong because of its accent. I have many friends from Kenya and Nigeria too, and they speak really. Some of them they speak fast, other they speak um slow. Um, but in England, for example, there are many people who get different accents depends on their regions. And in
Same
Trinidad,
here.
we say water, water. Americans say water, but there are some people in England and they say war, war, computer, computer. So they don't finish that pronunciation, so they just craft or they cut the accent into words. uh, and sometimes it's become really hard for many people around the world to understand this kind of accent.
Mm.
For example, people from China, you know that people from China cannot pronounce very well the air, all right? And those people, they are really good to speak like British people. But, for example, if they are Chinese and they have lived all their lives in America, okay, it's good for them. But sometimes it's really hard for many people even understand Spanish words to understand English words because maybe you are used to to hear this kind of word. For example, subway. I will take the subway. But when you know another people that you are from another country, this will say, "Okay, I will take the underground." What? I don't understand. What's that? What is the underground? And so that's kind of confusions they are commonly in the world because many people learn a language, for example, in this case English, but they don't learn or they don't study the difference between American and British English and the different dialects and accent too.
So, Anthony, let me tell you something. It's something related to social linguistic because some people have different dialects. And what about what happened with the pronunciation? Sometimes when you are trying to learn a foreign language, for example, in the case of English, you have to try to be approached of your native language. It means Spanish. For that reason, when you hear Portuguese or maybe a Chinese or Japanese or Mexican or Venezuelan people speaking, you say, "Oh my gosh, you speak very weird." Why? Because we are trying to be approach our pronunciation and try to speak English with our accent in Spanish or
Yeah.
Chinese or in
Mhm.
Portuguese. That happened.
Mhm.
And the dialects that happen in other languages too. For example, one thing is called in this way and the other place is called in the other way. So the idea is to try to communicate because I don't care. I don't, for example, in the case of Brazilian people, Portuguese, people who live in Portugal, they think, I don't understand what Brazilians are talking. But it's not happened when you go to Spain. When a Latin American person go to Spain, they understand and they don't criticize you when you speak. That's happened with the Portugal. They criticize Brazilian because they don't speak a, a perfect Portuguese. Remember, a perfect language doesn't
It
exist.
doesn't exist.
A perfect pronunciation or
The
a native speaker doesn't exist. For example, you say, "Oh, I'm native speaker." Yeah, because I live in Venezuela for more than 40 years. But what happened? You are native speakers, but you have mistake when you talk because you didn't study the language deeply. Because people who know the language are who study linguistic or the
over.
subjects and they try to speak perfectly. But people sometimes criticize without knowing anything.
Mhm.
Yeah, of course, I understand your point of view, And I'm talking about that sometimes become harder for many people to understand
Mhm.
English because
Yeah.
of their dialects or the accent. So I know, because for example, me as American or as a Latin American boy, and I am an English teacher too, I will never teach as a native English teacher. And for example, an English speaker teacher from America never will teach Spanish as a native one. So that's how I'm trying and speaking to. And I always tell to my students that um, a Latin American teacher never will teach her as a native English teacher because they adapt and they attach the English to their accent as the way as they have taught them to, or as the way they are learning to. So that's why I tell you sometimes it's become harder to speak or for many people trying to get or to understand some word from many foreign languages for many foreign people because of the accent or the dialects.
And
At the end of the day, they will understand it, but it's
Yeah.
becoming harder
mhm,
for them.
Yes.
Thank you.
yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, sure, of course. I buy
Mhm.
what you're saying. What you're saying is true. But actually, this issue or the idea of native speaker or another native speaker or non-native speaker, for me, is coming from political situation. It's political situation in the sense that when you want to study in a university in London or in America, you need to write a particular kind of exam that will now certify you to study in that particular university. But do you know the thing is, my country, Nigeria, more people speak English than people in London or people in United Kingdom, where you come to number. More people speak English in Pakistan than people speak English in the United Kingdom. So the question now becomes, the political aspect of it and what we are doing. Actually, in my own case, I don't really pay much attention to the idea of native speaker or non-native speaker. I don't really pay attention to accents and dialects because even in the United States, people from New York speak differently from people in California, and people from Liverpool speak differently from people in central London and even other parts of the United Kingdom. So these are even I realize that even the English of Scottish people is far different from the English of English people, that's people from England. It's also accent. So the situation becomes, what is the central issue here? Let the student communicate as much as they can because there is no how we can remove that LO1, first language influence to the second language. It's impossible. Another thing is happening in my country is that in my country, the second language is French. We learn French like the way Peruvians are learning English here. But I realized that the Nigerian French is far different from other parts of Francophone countries in Africa. And then as a whole, French spoken in Africa is far different from the French spoken in Canada and the French spoken in France. But the whole thing is, can we understand ourselves, which is the communication aspect of it? Can someone from Peru teach English, which is possible? Can someone from Venezuela speak and teach English? Or Brazil speak and teach English, which is possible. It's also possible for me to sit down and start learning Portuguese right now. Maybe in the next 2 or 3 years, I will start teaching it. It's possible too. So it boils down to interest, learning the central vocabulary, coordination grammar, and then become marketable, and if possible, in the play context of academics or work or any other thing we can do to learn the foreign language, which will help us to understand other people from other parts of the world. That is the way I look at it actually. Thank you very much, Anthony, and thank you very much, Professor Ramon. Thanks.
Well, well, Elizabeth, I think.
Thank you very much, Anthony, Michael. Thank you very much, Anthony Stavins. Thank you very much all for to be today with us. Thank you, Ramon,
You're
for
welcome.
your conference. our time is off, but we wait for you the next week again. I wait for all for continuing with this conference and to be continuous learning and practice, and that's all. I don't know if you want to say something, Ramon. Thank you very much for to
Well,
be.
thank you so much for be here. Remember, we are learning every day, and uh, everybody said here you have to take advantage of these different kind of accents in order to learn every day. Because the most important is to try to understand that Anthony said that when some people from other places they modify the pronunciation also in the same country. Sometimes you don't understand people when you speak in the native language, people from your country and other places you don't understand. My goodness, what is this talking about? It this is Spanish, that's English, because I can understand. That's happened. The most important is to try to understand and to try to continue. Yep. Well, thank you so much, and
Yes,
see you next week.
Yeah,
yes, we
thank
will
you.
see you the next week. Thank you. We have homework to practice every day for the next week. Do it better.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank
Take
you,
yes.
care.
Paola. Thank
Bye.
Thank
you.
See
you.
you.
Bye.
See you.
See you. Thank you.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, people. Thank you so much.
See you, teacher. Paola. Bye.
Bye,
See you,
bye,
everybody.
dear.
Bye.
Ramon? Ramon?